Welcome to World Prism. Please subscribe for more information. President Donald Trump stunned the world by announcing a sweeping 25% tariff on all imported light-duty vehicles and auto parts. The move aims to force automakers to shift production from Mexico, Canada, and overseas back to the US, and it's rolling out fast. The tariffs hit fully assembled vehicles on April 3rd, with parts following on May 3rd, leaving the industry scrambling. For decades, automakers have relied on global supply chains. This policy threatens to upend that system overnight. Stock prices for major automakers plunged, reflecting deep investor anxiety. Automakers, suppliers, and logistics firms now face a logistical and financial nightmare, unsure whether to absorb costs, pass them to consumers, or take drastic action. Trump argues the tariffs will protect American jobs, but critics warn the complex web of auto manufacturing can't be rewired overnight. Instead of a manufacturing renaissance, many fear a crisis that could hurt the very workers the policy claims to protect. A tariff is a tax on imported goods, making foreign products more expensive and, in theory, boosting domestic sales. Governments use tariffs to protect local industries, generate revenue, or as leverage in trade disputes. Trump's 25% auto tariff is a classic protectionist move, designed to make it too costly for automakers to build cars abroad and import them. The hope companies will build new factories in the US instead of seeking cheaper labor elsewhere. But tariffs often backfire. Targeted countries retaliate, sparking trade wars that hurt businesses and consumers on both sides. Higher import costs almost always mean higher prices for consumers, reducing purchasing power and slowing economic growth. While tariffs may shield some jobs, they can harm others and disrupt the broader economy. The debate is a constant tug-of-war between protecting local jobs and enjoying the benefits of global trade. Trump's move has reignited this age-old controversy, with the auto industry caught in the crossfire. The auto industry's response was swift and overwhelmingly negative. Ford's CEO warned the tariffs could devastate the American auto sector, a sentiment echoed by GM and Stellantis. Modern car manufacturing relies on just-in-time delivery of parts from across North America. Even a small disruption can halt entire assembly lines. Electric vehicle makers like Tesla aren't immune. Despite US assembly, they depend on global parts, so costs will rise. Automakers say building new US factories isn't realistic. It takes years and billions of dollars, and trade policy could change with the next election. Instead of incentivizing new investment, the tariffs create chaos and uncertainty, making long-term planning nearly impossible. Industry leaders see the policy as a threat to the integrated North American production network, not a path to more US jobs. The fear: plant shutdowns, lost jobs, and higher prices for everyone. The industry is bracing for disruption, not a manufacturing boom. The message from automakers is clear: these tariffs are a recipe for chaos, not growth. The biggest fear is a total shutdown of North American auto production. Modern cars use 30,000 parts, arriving just in time from around the world, a system that's efficient but fragile. A 25% tariff on parts could freeze the entire network within weeks. Analysts predict new car prices could jump by $3,500 to $12,000, hitting even made-in-America vehicles due to imported components. Many buyers will be priced out, delaying purchases or turning to used cars, which could tank new car sales and ripple through the economy. Automakers may cut less profitable models, shrinking consumer choice and fundamentally changing the US car market. Dealerships, lenders, and suppliers would all feel the pain. The vibrant, diverse car market Americans know could shrink dramatically. The result: fewer options, higher prices, and a transformed auto retail landscape. The industry faces a chilling new reality. The tariffs have split auto workers on either side of the border. In the US, some union leaders see hope. Maybe tariffs will finally bring jobs back from Mexico. The United Auto Workers support the move, betting that short-term pain could mean long-term gains for American workers. But in Canada, unions see disaster. Their jobs depend on cross-border supply chains, and tariffs threaten mass layoffs and plant closures. Canadian unions are fighting to save existing jobs, not bring back lost ones. The tariffs pit US and Canadian workers against each other, turning a shared industry into a source of division. For some Americans, tariffs are a lifeline. For Canadians, they're an existential threat. The trade war's human cost is immediate and personal. The once unified North American auto workforce now faces an uncertain, divided future. Canada's response was swift and united. Prime Minister Mark Carney called the tariffs a direct attack on the nation's economy. The government pledged $2 billion in support for the auto sector and is preparing diplomatic, legal, and retaliatory measures. With an election looming, the crisis has become a central campaign issue, uniting political parties in defense of Canadian jobs. Provincial leaders warn the tariffs will backfire, raising costs for American families and hurting both economies. Canada argues the two nations' economies are too intertwined for one-sided trade barriers to work. Officials are lobbying U.S. leaders and the public, emphasizing mutual harm. Regardless of election results, Canada is digging in for a prolonged fight. Retaliatory tariffs, legal action, and industry support are all on the table. The auto tariff crisis has become a defining moment for Canada's economic future. Amid trade turmoil, the auto industry is uniting around a new electric vehicle standard. In 2025, nearly every major automaker is adopting Tesla's North American charging standard, ending years of confusion over plug types. Ford, GM, Volkswagen, and others will build new EVs with the Tesla-style port and offer adapters for existing models. This move gives drivers access to Tesla's vast, reliable supercharger network, making EV ownership easier and reducing range anxiety. The industry's embrace of a single charging standard stands in stark contrast to the fragmentation caused by new tariffs. While politicians build trade barriers, engineers are breaking down technological ones. The result? A more seamless, appealing EV experience for consumers. It's a rare moment of unity in an industry otherwise rocked by division. The American auto industry stands at a crossroads, torn between Trump's protectionist vision and the industry's warnings of chaos. For buyers, higher prices and fewer choices are almost certain, putting new cars out of reach for many. U.S. auto workers hope for a jobs revival, but risk layoffs if supply chains break down. Canadian workers face immediate threats to their livelihoods. The policy has turned co-workers into competitors, fueling anxiety on both sides of the border. The industry is being forced to navigate a chaotic new landscape just as it faces a historic shift to electric vehicles. Trade barriers add risk and uncertainty at the worst possible time. The next few months will determine the cost of cars, the fate of jobs, and the future of the industry. The road ahead is unpaved and unpredictable. The decisions made now will shape the auto world for a generation.